Zweig Group invites all AEC industry leaders to the 2024 AEC Small Business and Entrepreneurship Forum, the premier event for small firms in the AEC sector. Experience innovative strategies and insights on May 21st, crafted by Zweig Group's industry experts. Engage in keynotes and interactive sessions focused on recruitment, retention, and business growth. Join Zweig Group for this unique networking opportunity and take your business to new heights. Secure your spot today and be part of the AEC industry's future. Visit zweiggroup.com for more information. The Zweig Group team looks forward to welcoming you.
Welcome to the Zweig Letter Podcasts, putting architectural, engineering, planning, and environmental consulting guru Mark Zweig and his team of experts straight talk in your ear. Mark has more than 30 years of experience helping AEP and environmental firms thrive, and these podcasts deliver his invaluable management, industry, client, and HR advice directly to you, free of charge. The Zweig Letter Podcasts let you develop professionally, wherever you are.
Hey everyone, and thank you for joining us for another episode of the Zweig Letter Podcast. Our goal is to bring you some of the best and brightest minds that the AEC industry has to offer. Today, I am pleased to have with me again Sanjay Jenkins from Zweig Group. Sanjay, it is so good to have you back on the show. We're back at it for another episode, and this is our first time coming together, I think, since Hot Firm.
Yeah, I believe
if I'm
so.
not mistaken. So good to see you. Certainly want to hear what your thoughts were about Hot Firm and what you thought overall about the event. We can talk about that before we jump into today's episode, which we're going to share. We're going to continue in our conversation on hiring and keeping great talent with new media. A couple of weeks ago, we covered this topic and we talked about being the be everywhere mentality, and we talked about new media options for firms to keep their name and their information out there in front of the widest audience possible. We discussed blogging, we discussed social media, and today we are going to get into another area which I think is really important, which is audio and video. And if time permits, we will also get into talking a little bit about virtual and augmented reality, and we'll talk a little bit about gamification and what that looks like in the talent acquisition space.
Absolutely.
The whole purpose behind this, and when I originally wrote the article, which has been out now, it's a Zweig Letter article, again titled "Hiring and Keeping Great Talent with New Media," was that we needed to kind of think outside of the box as design firms in ways that we can attract the best talent possible and ways that we can attract great people to our firms. And it's not so much just reputation. That's just one thing. It's not just, we have people that refer, we have people internally, employees that refer us to people. And that's great too. Referral sources are a huge aspect of the talent acquisition situation. But you also just have to constantly be mining the fertile ground of opportunity when it comes to finding great engineers, great architects, land surveyors, landscape architects. It doesn't matter. No matter who you're looking for, you need to be really intentional about how you get out there and get your message across to people about what makes your firm special, what makes them great. And so certainly we'll, along those lines, we want to talk about that. But before we jump into the meat of today's discussion, I did want to get some feedback from Sanjay on our Hot Firm event a couple of weeks ago in Seattle, Washington. Sanjay, it was an amazing time. That was I forget what number Hot Firm event that was for me, but for you it was number 1.
It was, yeah.
And I'd love to get your take on it as a newbie to Hot Firm and as a newbie to Zweig Group. What did that event represent for you? What was it like? What was your biggest takeaway from the program? And then we can go from there.
Meeting the clients, face to face. I think this is I've said this many times before, but when you are able to, so I do the email marketing for Zweig Group, and I blast emails to 20, 30, 40 50, 60,000 people at a time.
Mm-hmm.
And there is a great deal of separation between me and the people who receive the emails. It's, you sort of get desensitized to the fact that you're sending these emails to actual people. And so these interactions that I get to have, that I had at Hot Firm were very valuable because, a name that I may have seen, this person has clicked on our emails, 80% of the time, or I can count on this person to be interested in this subject. Like, I can actually meet them, talk to them, see what they think about, not just the emails, but, the Zweig Group offerings, their ideas on the industry as a whole, just who they are, just like human to human.
Right.
And that is like those relationships. I'm really big on relationships. If you've heard on some of the previous podcasts, especially when I was talking about how I got this job, it was through relationships. They're very valuable to me. I think that's my biggest skill, or at least where I focus a lot of my energy on. So building those relationships face to face, that was incredibly powerful. I do want to just quickly mention, if you haven't heard, and honestly, I think Randy and I, we've been, burning the candle at both ends. He and I filmed or recorded an entire post-mortem podcast about our takes on Hot Firm. Do you remember this, Randy?
Yes.
Yeah. So I was just like, I forgot that we had done that. We've just been really busy over here.
That's true. And it has been. Yeah. You're right. We did do a postmortem, and that's funny because we have been ripping and running since we got back here. And that was the episode that we did right after the event, just to kind of put something out there and share some information with people. You're right. And then I had James Hilligus,
that's my boy,
last week, which was interesting because we're actually going to do a lot more podcasts with actual practitioners in the space. We want to talk with if you are an engineer or an architect and would want to be interviewed in this space, you don't have to be an owner, just somebody working in the space. We want to talk with you because I think it's important to have that kind of dialogue as well. And so I do want to encourage you to reach out to me at rwilburn@zweiggroup.com, and I'll be more than happy to chat with you and see what might be appropriate and figure out how we can get on the phone for 15 or 20 minute conversation. And I'll go easy on you, and, we'll have a good time. We'll have a good conversation. It would really be helpful. I think, one of the things that I'd like to do in the near future, and we're working on that in the background right now, is to come up with another podcast that maybe just exclusively deals with the employees and their from their vantage point.
Right.
The Zweig Letter podcast is an extension of the Zweig Letter, which is a newsletter that's run almost continuously. Well, it has run continuously for almost three decades, and so I want to get that information out there as much as possible and let people know, how things are viewed from the employee perspective, not just from the owners. I've had all kinds of owners and, titans of industry on this site, not on the site, but on this podcast. But we also want to just talk to the people that actually make it go. You guys are the grease. You guys are, and when I say you guys, I'm talking about the practitioners, those of you that are in the trenches, the cellar doers, the people that are getting it done on a daily basis, whether you are a designer or whether you are a project manager, assistant project manager, senior project manager, it doesn't matter. You guys are the ones that are getting it done on a daily basis and allow the infrastructure of this country to grow. So certainly would love to hear from you. And this is an all points bulletin call out to everyone that has listened to this, that you've shared with somebody. Just, reach out to us and then let us know that you'd be interested in being on the show, because I'd love to talk with you from a couple of vantage points. One is just your overall take of the industry from your perspective. I'd like to learn a little bit more about how you view firms in the industry, and also what your prognosis is of what the future looks like. Do you feel like you're going to be replaced by a robot at some point in time in the near future? I mean, you just never know. But I think it just would be really good to talk to people in the trenches, getting it done day in and day out. And so we welcome you to be a part of this podcast and maybe some other things that we might create in the very near future. And I think it would be worthwhile to reach out to us and let us know that you have an interest. And so that way we can talk with more people like James Hillegas from last week and the amazing things that he's doing. He's not only an up and coming structural engineer, but he's also an entrepreneur.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he's getting a lot done. He's a bodybuilder. I mean, he's into a lot of stuff. So James, if you're listening, man, we were honored to have you on the show and really enjoyed talking with you, learning more about your experiences and what you're doing. And so, yeah, absolutely. Let's keep that going. I think that's really valuable. So.
And if you don't reach out to us, I will come and find you,
right,
Jeffrey Collins. Like we will make sure that we are contacting you and doing as much as we can to make this a very inclusive space.
Yeah, and I think it's important because even firm owners and founders and others that operate in this space want to know what people are thinking. It's valuable information. It really is. And so, we just have to figure out how to get people on and trust me, I'll figure something out. But, interviewing you is real simple and there are many different ways that we can do it. So just want to encourage you, something to think about for the future. And Sanjay, thank you for reminding me with my senior moment that, we had already done a postmortem on Hot Firm, which was cool.
I had forgotten to, don't worry.
Well, okay, good. Because I'm like, man, we didn't really talk about it, but we did. We actually did a real breakdown of everything that we did and how amazing it was. And the simple fact that Hot Firm 2018 is going to be in Dallas, and like I said, we're moving a mile a minute. So we'll dispense with the extra information then on that. And let's move into the main meat of the topic here, which again is the reason why we wanted to talk about this and why we actually broke it up over a couple of segments is that there's a lot of information here, when it comes to all of the different things that firms can be doing, none of which most of the firms in the design space are actually doing. So this is really for a lot of you, this is new information. For a lot of you, these should be some aha moments, things that you could say, you know what? I heard that Randy or that Sanjay guy talk about this. This could actually work. This could be interesting. This could be, something that we try. So let's get into to the meat of this. And as I said before, we've talked about a couple of different areas, but I want to talk about audio and video and how important that media is in terms of getting information out about your firm and what you're doing, ways to disseminate information both internally as well as externally. And so, I think it's, to me, when you do audio and video, it's definitely one of the easiest ways to engage your audience and to kind of memorialize things that happen at your firm so that others can see and hear about it and understand what's going on. And then, I think it's really important that nowadays there's no excuse about getting information out, especially, if I think of just like what we're doing here. I mean, if you could see our setup here in the office, you would know that, it's not high tech. I'm not, and, so a lot of times people say, well, you sound so good. This sounds good. And yeah, a couple of ATR 2100s, which are Audio Technica microphones and a really good recorder. We use a Zoom H4n. And I've got some Bose speakers in, and Sanjay's got some other fancy speakers in that I've headphones in that I've given him, and and some cords and cables, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah,
you're set. We carried this on the road. We didn't record anything on the road because we were so busy at Hot Firm, but we carried this on the road, and could easily record a podcast anywhere. It's very simple to do. When I do podcasts for the Zweig Letter podcast, a lot of times I'm interviewing. I don't always have the luxury of having somebody physically in my office like I do right now. Sometimes I have to, call people up, or I'll use some of the different apps that are out there that allow me to interview somebody over the phone or over Skype. And there's another program called Ringer, which allows you to basically create a recording, and the beauty of that program is that it records on each side. So it will record on Sanjay's computer if I call him up through Ringer, and it will record on my computer, my side of the conversation, and then it marries the two up and gives you a final product that sounds amazing. And so it's, the technology is just there. It's there for you to take advantage of. And so I really want to encourage people to kind of figure out ways that they can, leverage that kind of technology, and maybe start with audio, and then you can build to video, or you can start with video and strip out the audio and repurpose that as well. I mean, there's a number of different ways that you can take advantage of audio and video for the purposes of growing your firm and getting the word out, continuing to brand what you're all about, and then also figure out ways to, let the world know that you're hiring, or let the world know that you have specific positions open and available, and just give people a glimpse of what life is like at your firm. So,
I don't remember what I was going to say.
Huh?
I don't remember what I was going to say.
Oh, it was such a good idea. It just escaped you, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. It happens.
Well, that's
sometimes.
okay. Yeah, it does. It has happened sometimes. So, so just to kind of follow up with that thought process in terms of audio and video, you really want to kind of take some time to figure out ways to disseminate what your firm is all about to the widest audience possible. And in this way, there's a couple of things I think you can do. And when I say you, I'm speaking to those that are firm owners or leaders in their firms, to maybe try something different. So say you got a small group of people that you manage and you want to interact with them on a regular basis. You could put out an internal podcast for people to listen to that you record and then share just individually to those individuals. You don't have to put it up on iTunes or anything like that. It can be a simple recording of some ideas or some thoughts to spur some additional conversations among your group. Another thing that you can do that I think is kind of cool is like, a company could do an Ask Me Anything with the CEO. And somebody could go in, like myself or anybody for that matter, and interview the CEO and ask them anything based on questions that employees want to know. And then all those responses can be cataloged and shared with everybody through a video format or through an audio format. That's one kind of cool way to leverage this technology and really move it out there. And again, this is low tech. I'm not talking about going, crazy with this. You can just, take your iPhone. I have a couple of programs on my iPhone. One is iRecorder and the other is AVN. It's an audio recorder that, and it's an app. And I know that it's also available, I believe, on Android as well. But it's in the iTunes store. And the app is just amazing. It allows me to record any conversation that I'm doing in full stereo, and then I can play it back, or I can repurpose it or use it. I can even upload it directly to a server. So if I want to share it out with as many people as possible, I can do that. But, I have conversations with clients, or if I need to record an internal meeting because I need to share it with some other people that weren't there, I'm able to repurpose it that way. But externally, if I'm trying to either get the word out about my firm, I want to let people know what we're all about, there's so many different ways to start using audio and video to document what your firm is all about and how you get that information to them. I mean, everybody should have a YouTube channel. Everybody should, I think, a lot, especially if you're doing something unique. I know we have a client that just came up with a very proprietary product in the design space for sports facilities and sports arenas. And I have like a million ideas for how those guys could leverage that with this technology, with a podcast or with a video that kind of really explains it. And they put a good explainer video together to articulate that, but I would take it to a whole nother level and create an even larger dialogue about this whole phenomena of building these inverted bowls for sports facilities, which I think are kind of cool. So big shout out to Rossetti and what they're doing with that idea, and just a great execution as far as getting the word out and using video in that way. And I'll link to some of these videos in the show notes so people can see them. But I mean, you've got to be leveraging this technology and taking advantage of it and getting the word out to people about what you guys are doing. It's just really important.
And so here's the why on all of this. Why audio is important, why video is important. It's where people are devoting their attention and their time. And in a lot of cases, especially with relative to ads, like their money as well. If you look at the data, you will see that more people are spending time on platforms like Facebook and Instagram or Snapchat, and they're watching videos and they're just constantly consuming this content. And you may have noticed this in your own life. You'll just be laying down at your bed. Maybe you've just woken up. Maybe you're about to go to bed. Maybe you're just laying on the couch. When a commercial comes on during, a TV program, you just pull out your phone and then you're watching videos on your phone.
Right.
Or on your commute. And this is usually what I do. If I have a longer commute, I'll crack out a podcast or two. And this is how people consume the bulk of their information in 2017, almost about to be 2018.
Yeah.
So, we talk a lot about the be everywhere strategy. Well, this is the core of that be everywhere strategy. This is the method of distribution. These are the media that you need to leverage to really get to maximize the attention that people are putting out into the world.
Yeah. And it's funny, you mentioned those videos, and I know that there was a statistic put out there that now, if you notice, a lot of these videos people are putting out, they have subtitles to them or captions. And the reason behind that is that I think 64 or 65% of all videos are listened to without the sound.
Yeah.
Now, that doesn't mean you should record a video without sound.
Right.
It just means that when you record a video, you should keep in mind that the lower third, there should be enough space on that video for you to put captions up of whatever the person's talking about. Because I might be looking at your video, but maybe I'm doing it in a meeting. I shouldn't be, but maybe I am. And I want to read that. And I'm like, oh, okay, I'm gathering the information about your video, but I'm gathering it because the captions are right below whoever's talking and I can understand what's being said.
And sometimes it's not even like, you're in a public place or you're at work when watching this video. You could be in your bed and still watching this video without sound on. I was actually looking at our own data, this Y group data on all the videos that we've posted on social media, and our number was actually closer to about 80%.
That's huge.
People, watching videos without audio. It's like 80% of those views, no audio.
Right.
And so,
and we aren't captioning everything that we should be. So
exactly,
you learn from what we don't do properly.
We're experimenting.
Yeah,
we're a test bed.
Yeah. We're not perfect in this area, but I know that we did do some videos for AEC Workforce,
right.
And I think some of those videos have been seen like over a couple thousand times.
Yeah.
And they've gotten some great traction, and I think that's important. People need to understand that there are a lot of different ways to disseminate that information through audio and video. And when you do, you want to make sure that you capture the attention of the consumer any way that they are consuming that information. So whether they are watching the video silently and just reading the transcription, or they're doing something else. So, just keep that in mind, as you move forward. And it's something that really would want to encourage you guys to partake of. The other thing is that, especially with the videotaping piece of it, and I'm just going to jump over to that for a minute. When you think of, iPhones now, I just got the iPhone 8 Plus, shoots in 4K video. It does pretty much everything you want it to do. I mean, it's my phone. It's something I carry around. I have it in my pocket all the time.
Mm-hmm.
There is no excuse for anyone that is in the marketing department or a leader of an organization that can't capture some basic video footage to then have shared on their platform, social media platforms within their organizations. And yeah, I get it. I know some people are saying, well, Randy, you just don't understand. I don't have a steady hand. Everything I ever do video wise comes out shaking. I get it. That's fine. Maybe you might not be the person to do that, but there's somebody within your team that can do it. And we were even talking to a client the other day that said that, look, we deal with all of this on a regular basis. And, sometimes I'll just go to an event and pull out my phone and start recording, and the quality is good. I mean, I'm amazed at the stuff that I pull out, and I'm just like, oh, I'm gonna go ahead and do this video, and then I'm just like, wow, this actually looks really good. This looks professional, and so
better than our DSLRs sometimes. Yeah, that's annoying.
Exactly. And so that phone is right in your pocket. So you want to kind of take advantage of that and utilize that, and especially if you have an iPhone. You've got iWorks available to you. You've got iMovie and
Apple Clips.
You've got a number of different ways to take advantage of that information and manipulate it into a finished product that you want to share with people. So really want to encourage you to think about that.
From a technical standpoint, if you're trying to optimize your videos for social media, for example, regardless of platform, actually, just a few weeks ago, we were talking with our LinkedIn representative, and she was telling me about LinkedIn's video technology, their guidelines. So like Facebook, Instagram, I know just off the top of my head and very thoroughly that the 1-to-1 ratio video, that's going to be the most optimized. And I've tested that with our own videos, and I've noticed these Square videos perform exponentially better than our typically widescreen kind of
cinematic formats.
Right.
Yeah. No, that's huge. Yeah. And I've shot a lot more Square videos. And when you think of a Square video, it's kind of like how you orient your iPhone or Android in a vertical manner to shoot for for Instagram.
Yeah.
And Instagram
like
doesn't
within the
allow
Instagram
you to
app,
shoot in landscape mode. It only shoots in vertical mode, and that allows you to capture that perfect square, if you will.
Yeah. So the Instagram native app will let you shoot in Square. Apple Clips, if you've got an iPhone, that'll pretty much force you to shoot in the Square format. So those are automatically optimized. I'm not super familiar with Android apps that shoot in Square.
Yeah.
But I know that they're out there. It's a given at this point. So keep that in mind.
Yeah, absolutely. So it'll be interesting to see, how things shake out over time as new technologies come. But you've got so many different applications. Obviously Vine was out there. You've got Snapchat. You've got Instagram. Facebook Watch is now the new way to watch videos on Facebook. I have some friends that have their own channel on Facebook now. A lot of ways that you can get information out there and share it with people and have it circle back to who you are as an organization. It's just a matter of trying to take advantage of the technology that's there and use it for your best interest, as well as the interest of your organization. So really want to encourage people to kind of think about that. And so just off the top of my head, when I come to think about different ways that you could use video with regard to your organization in terms of kind of showing off what makes your firm special. You could videotape birthday party celebrations. You could videotape any type of exercise activities that you might do at work. You could videotape any special events or any programs or any travel that the team members have done together, and any adventure tours or things of that nature. You could certainly highlight things about your area, where you live, anything that makes your neck of the woods special. I think of Fayetteville, Arkansas, and we've got a number of different things, including the Razorbacks and the University of Arkansas, and we have the Bikes, Blues, and Barbecue event every year. We've got so many different things that we could highlight and share with potentially people that would want to come work with us and kind of find out, well, why us versus somebody else? We can kind of take them through the process and help them out. So,
and you're absolutely right. There's a lot of different things you can video. Always be open to what you can video. If you're on a more technical side of things, you're working on a cool project, go pull your phone out while you're walking through the project.
Yeah.
If you're in a meeting, maybe at the end of it, just have someone do a little quick recap of what you talked about, assuming that you can publicly share that information.
Right. Yeah. I was just going to say the caveat is that every now and then you're working on things that are just aren't for public consumption. And we get that. We're not talking about that. We're talking about things that are for public consumption and ways for you to accentuate what you do as an organization and what sets you apart and makes you special. It's certainly something to consider.
Yeah.
So a couple of other ways that you can leverage Instagram. Obviously, you can leverage YouTube for some of these videos that we're talking about. With Instagram, what's nice is that you can just pull out your phone, shoot a quick 1-minute video that kind of captures the essence of what you're talking about. The thing that I've found interesting about Instagram is that you only get 1 minute on your video. Of course, you could do a simple picture or multiple pictures to share. But the 1-minute video really is an economy of words. I mean, you've got to be very succinct in terms of what you want to do and what you want to say. So that's just something that, people should definitely be aware of. But like I said, Instagram, you could talk about new work, winning new work, birthday celebrations. We also shot a quick video on our solar eclipse barbecue party back in August. Remember that?
That's right. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Actually, you probably shot that.
I did.
So
I did the entire thing.
Tell us how that went down and what you did.
So most of what I did with that was I have a DJI Phantom 3 standard. So the best it's going to shoot in is 1080p.
You want to explain?
It's a drone.
What DJI is? Okay.
So it's a drone, and on Eclipse Day, we got like 94% of the eclipse, or
is that what we got?
I think it was only 9. Yeah, or maybe more. I don't think it was much more than that though.
Not much more to go.
Yeah,
so,
but honestly, I had the drone up. It's that particular. My unit has a 30-minute battery life on a good day. I didn't have it up that long. Honestly, I probably had it up for about 10 to 12 minutes, but I was able to make I think it was 2.5 minute video using that footage and then just some footage I found on the internet of actual totality.
Right.
And just found an instrumental that I really liked, put that video together, and within, I think, about 36 hours, it had been viewed 2,000 times.
Really?
Yeah. Which, for a bigger organization, might not be that big of a deal, but for our niche, that's actually really amazing.
It is.
A lot of shares. It was one of those things where the employees were in the video, everybody was having fun, and everyone felt compelled to share. They wanted to show off to their friends and their family, like, hey, this is what I did at work today. We had this really cool, we made tacos that day. We were cooking outside.
That's what you do on Eclipse Day.
That's right. It's naturally. It was a fantastic celebration. Just a nice little break from work as well. And those are the kinds of things that you can share. Now, you don't necessarily need to have a drone. My particular unit cost, I think I paid $400 for it. You can get one of those DJI Sparks, which will follow you. It's got a lot of advanced features. It'll automatically take photos and videos, and it's way more advanced than my unit is. You can get that for $500. You can go get a small, very portable unit for $1,000, and then just sort of goes up from there. But again, going back to the iPhone thing, you can do a lot of damage just from your cell phone, and I think it's very, very possible for you to make something that isn't necessarily globally or nationally viral, but at least within your community, somewhat viral. And if you personally don't want to do it, find the people, and every firm has at least one. Find the person who is most engaged on social media or videos, and just have them do it.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's nothing wrong with asking, even if it's not their job, even if it's they're not a marketing person, or they're not with that's totally fine. I'm actually working with a consulting client right now, and I was looking through their tagged photos on their Instagram. So these are all the times that this company's been tagged in someone else's photo, and they have one employee who's incredibly active on Instagram.
Yeah,
I mean, he's posting 5 times a day.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all really cool.
And that's considered active.
Yeah.
That's considered active.
And it's all really good content. Like he's got some cool food stuff he's doing at work. Like every morning when he goes to work, he's like, hey, you know, I'm about to go into work, and here's the building, and here's your company hashtag, and you know, empower those people. Like, be like, hey, we see that you're very good at, you know, you understand these tools. You don't have to spend a whole lot of money on like training someone how to use them, you know, and sort of like forcing something that may not be there. Find the people who are already like understand the ecosystem. And that doesn't necessarily mean, you know, the younger folks. Like I want, you know, I guess like as a 21-year-old, I feel compelled to say that it's not exclusive to people around my age group. There are people who, you know, have been in the game for years, who are just very, you know, good at staying up to date with technology, who are a lot better at utilizing technology than, you know, some of my peers might be. It's just a matter of finding those people.
Yeah. And I mean, you bring up a good point, and I think people need to not be afraid to embrace technology. I don't care what age you're at.
Right.
You can utilize this technology to your advantage and to the advantage of your firm. So don't be afraid. Come to the light and embrace it. I mean, there's just so much, you know, that you can do. The other thing I do want to mention is that I want to give a little bit of time to YouTube and its significance in all of this. And there's one simple reason why you should create a YouTube channel for your firm if you don't already have one. If all you do is just post videos about your birthdays that you have or other things that you're doing and you know, ribbon cutting ceremonies and other you know, you should be posting everything. What you can do is ultimately come up with a plan for how you post and what you post. But, you know, all of that can ultimately, once you put it online, it will ultimately drive traffic back to your organization. And so it's kind of like the lowest hanging fruit, or one of the simplest ways to get the word out to people is by doing that. And so I really want to encourage you to get involved with YouTube. And you know, the YouTube is the second largest search engine and third most visited site in the world after Google and Facebook.
Wow.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it is.
So it's important. I mean, every AEC design firm should have a YouTube channel. And then you should figure out a schedule, an editorial calendar with which you'll put out content and how that content will look. And, you know, I'm pretty sure that when you first start putting it out, it won't look that great, but over time,
it'll get better.
It's that simple. So, and then certainly if you can label those keywords in all those videos, you tag them properly, all of that's indexable and searchable online. So it all goes back to help you anyway.
And to touch again on the why, like, go to the people, go to the attention.
Yeah.
Reduce the amount of friction between the message that you have, the story that you have to tell,
right,
and the people who can potentially receive that message.
Right. So, yep. So that's those are just a couple of ideas that you should think about when it comes to audio and video. There's another great app that I want to mention. It's called Anchor. Anchor is really good. It will allow you to create your own podcasting app, if you will, where everything you can record right on your phone. It will go right into your phone through the Anchor app, and it will upload it to Google Play or to iTunes, to the podcast app store. So there are a number of different ways that you can do that. And if you ultimately after listening to this, if you just want to pick our brains and talk more about how you being an owner or someone in a leadership position at your firm, or just anyone in general that works in the design space, but wants to figure out ways to leverage this new technology from a marketing perspective, definitely reach out to us, and we'll be more than happy to walk you through the different ways that this can ultimately make a difference for you and for your organization. So definitely want to encourage you to do that. Sanjay, once again, man, thank you so much for taking some time to connect today and getting a episode recorded specifically on this content, because I think it is important for people to know what they need to be doing, and definitely want to get people involved in this.
Yeah, thank you for having me again.
No, absolutely. Folks, I want to encourage you today to get a free subscription of Civil Plus Structural Engineer magazine, and I am sweetening the pot. And the way I'm sweetening the pot is that I'm throwing in a little Zweig letter, and I'm sprinkling around it a free subscription. That's right. You've heard it right. You can get a free digital subscription to the Zweig Letter for a year from us, from me, from Sanjay, from Zweig Group. It's a way for you to stay alert and to keep up with all of the amazing things that are happening in this industry. And you'll be able to, once you sign up for this, you'll get the digital copy of the Zweig Letter every Monday morning. So really want to encourage you to take advantage of that. Just visit freetzl.zweiggroup.com and leave us your email address. That's freetzl.zweiggroup.com and leave us your email address. We'll take care of the rest. Everything will be delivered to you electronically. In addition, if your firm is looking to hire great talent, please join our mailing list for AEC Workforce. Just text the word Hire Faster to 66866, and that will get you on the list where you will learn more about this upcoming job board for the design and construction industry. As a reminder, all Zweig Group media programs like this one are available in most cases both in podcast and video format, free for download on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, YouTube, just to name a few places. A link to all this information, including contact information for Sanjay and myself, will be in our show notes. And we'd love it if you'd go to iTunes or wherever you tune into this show and give us a rating and share this link with a friend. Not just any rating. We want a 5-star review, right? It's 5 stars or nothing. I'm Randy Wilburn.
I'm Sanjay Jenkins.
And you've been listening to Zweig Group Media, part of Zweig Group. Remember, we exist to make you more successful. Bye for now.
Thanks for tuning in to this Zweig Letter podcast. We hope that you can apply Mark's no-holds-barred advice to your daily professional life. For a free transcript of this or any episode of our podcast, please visit info.zweiggroup.com/podcast. If you want more wisdom and inspiration, in addition to information about finance, HR, and marketing your firm, subscribe to the print or digital version of the Zweig Letter online at zweiggroup.com/publications.